Okay, I'm going to let the coordinators discuss each prospect individually, but excited about this class. Obviously, signed 20 players total, including the 2 early enrollees. Addressed some needs we felt like on the offensive defensive line, at wide receiver, and depth overall, with, I believe, 9 starters back on offense and 12 guys that have started on defense. Lots of guys that have played coming back, but need some guys to come in and compete and push them and be ready to play immediately. And we think we have some of those in this class. So excited about it, and can't wait to get them on campus. Y'all can ask away. Definitely. That was a constant throughout the recruitment, and then on their visits, Kirby would speak about that and all the changes, and that's definitely a huge selling point for us. I do. When you have a down year and you have guys that still believe in you and believe in your vision and what you're about, that obviously means a lot to you as a staff. And so we're excited about a bunch of these kids who committed early and hung with us through a tough year, and that shows that they really want to be here, and that means a lot to us. Yeah, I think just numbers-wise, with what we had on campus, we knew we needed a big class this year at that position, and went after some bigger guys, which we don't have on our roster, some taller guys, but got some fast guys as well. So a lot of playmakers in that group, guys that are going to need to be able to come in and play right away, and we think a lot of those guys have the ability to do that. Yeah, no quarterback with the situation that happened. We just that's a position I take a lot of pride in recruiting, and wanted to make sure we got it right. So we'll wait till 2016 and try to find a big-time guy then. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know the transfer deal has become very popular in college football for quarterbacks. That's why the Ohio State situation is so refreshing to see that kid come in and do what he did. But I don't know. You'd like to take one every class, but when it gets that close to signing day and you haven't built a relationship anywhere else, you don't want to screw that deal up. So we just decided to ante up for 16 and excited about recruiting a great one in that class. We'll see. I hope not. So we'll see. There's one more out there that we'll see how that goes. No, that's part of this whole process. You look at every team out there. I mean, everybody goes through that. And, it is what it is. You got to worry about the ones you get and don't worry about the ones you don't get. I've heard a long time ago that by February a lot of those kids forget about your record anyways, but obviously it doesn't help to go 4-8, and we need to show much improvement this year to take that next step. But like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these kids were committed before the season started, and for them to stick with us through a rough year meant a lot to us as a staff. Yeah, that you just keep recruiting till the end. You keep trying to find guys that will improve your roster, and our coaches did a good job of that, and had a couple big-time players late that got on board. Yeah, he's big in the player personnel side of things, mentorship role. He'll help on the offensive side as well, but his main deal is more of a mentorship role. I think when you look at what he did at South Oak Cliff from where they were at to going deep into the playoffs, incredible mentor, very well respected in that area, and we were lucky to have him be a part of this staff. No, I didn't know where that would go, honestly. I think it shows the level of respect they have for him, and that they wanted to be around him. No, it doesn't. I think we made the mistake the past 2 years of reaching on some guys late, and that really has hurt us. And so obviously we would have liked a couple more, but it didn't fall that way. But we weren't going to reach and get some guys that can't play at this level. And so that leaves you some leeway to put some guys on moving forward. And there's always transfers that are looking for a place, so it gives you some flexibility moving forward. Hopefully the ability to play right away. I think, once again, we'll be going through spring with a light roster when it comes to offensive linemen, and these kids have to come in and be able to be backups at best, and hopefully starters. So we'll see where it goes. But it's a good group. A couple of those guys committed early and hung with us, and have the ability to play right away. Excited. It was a young group. I think you add Mike Mitchell to the mix this spring, Dakota Allen, guys that redshirted. That probably could have helped us last year, but those two, and then Devontae Hidden is a guy who was a little undersized, or else probably would have went anywhere in the country as far as offer-wise, and is a tackling machine, and really look forward to working with him. He did a great job. He's a guy who has so much credibility based upon his resume, where he's been, who he's coached. That resonates with those recruits. And so I felt like in the short amount of time he had to build relationships, he did a phenomenal job, and got a lot of the guys we were after. I can't. I think they're all great. Yeah. Yeah, the one that jumps out is Braden. Being here in the spring really gives him a leg up. But all those guys, we recruited them all to play. and they're all filling needs that we need right away. And so hopefully they can all come in and contribute in some way. But we'd love to not redshirt any of them if possible. Yeah, I don't stress too much either way. I think this deal is you put in all the work. I mean, this is the culmination of 3 years' work when you start recruiting these kids as sophomores or even freshmen. So it's more of a celebration. You're excited about who you get, and once again, you can't worry about the guys you don't. I don't know if there really were any surprises. I think we had a pretty good feel going into it who we were going to get. We did. We felt like we had a good grasp on what was going to go on there. It's just ever changing. There's no telling what can change a 17 to 18-year-old's mind on where they want to go to school. And so you do the best you can building relationships, and you meet some incredible kids, incredible parents. And at the end of the day, sometimes they make choices that may not be the way you want, but it's not like you hold it against them. It's part of the process, and they're just doing what they feel is best for them. We hope so. We have an experienced group, 4 starters coming back on our offensive line, but these guys need to come in and push them and be able to back up right away. But we like the group. It's a tough group. It's a group who all wanted to be at Texas Tech, very proud of this university already, and that means a lot to us. Yeah, I think it was good. Like I said, his resume speaks for itself, and when you talk to those kids about having coached Champ Bailey and being an NFL coach for 9 years and what he did at University of Houston, leading the country in takeaways, that resonates with them, and they're excited to have the opportunity to work with him. Yeah, very, very important. He's a guy who loves Texas Tech, wants to raise his family here, and wants to be here. He's a proud Red Raider, and he'll do a tremendous job with the defensive line. I think he's going to infuse some real energy into that group and get them playing at a very high level. I think defensive line-wise, we have some real quality coming in, but I think with the number of seniors in that group next year, we'll have to have another big group come in. Yeah, I'd say work ethic and maturity, the way he handles himself around the building when he interacts with coaches, other players, professors, very mature young man, and just his work ethic. He lives in the weight room, wants to be great, and sometimes those are things that you can't teach. So we're excited about that, and it'll be a great leadership role for us moving forward with that freshman class. Yeah, he just has a great grasp of the offense after sitting through the meetings and has the same credibility of the NFL, having played that position and really maximizing his potential as a player. We felt he could help us in that regard. And Coach Morris will still oversee the receivers, but that'll be Coach Shev's room, and I think it'll help in recruiting as well. We want to run it, with DeAndre coming back, had such a tremendous year. Justin Stockton, DeMarcus Felton, Q White's a guy who continues to impress me, and bringing in Corey, one of the fastest kids in the country. We felt like we just needed one running back in this class with all the youth we have at that position. Yes, ma'am. We'd love to keep handing it off. Yeah, I think just relationships count for more than anything else. I think if you start building that at an early age, regardless how the record goes, if they believe in you, believe what you're about, you can sustain those and still sign kids. We do. I think Jamil Johnson's a kid physically, he'll be able to do it. Very tough player, has a nose for the football, was great at South Oak Cliff, and I think he'll be able to come in and compete right away for a starting position. I doubt it. I think we're going to need it too deep, and those guys need to step up and be ready for that role. So I would think we'll try not to redshirt any of them. We'd like to play them and actually have a situation this year where we can get some of those guys some time, where last year we really weren't good enough to get many of those guys much time, so we ended up redshirting guys.